everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for something cool, a panel discussion where we bring in industry professionals to help empower, inspire, and hopefully educate our creative community. Today, we are going to be diving into the world of artificial intelligence and all the amazing tools that creators can be and should be using to help with their workflow, with their creations, and everything in between. To help us navigate that world of artificial intelligence, I have Christian Vivas, who is a creative technologist, is a founder of HGAB Studios, has been a creative entrepreneur for the last 15 years, understands the language of ones and zeros because of his coding and development background, and is an overall savage when it comes to technology, really. Honestly, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for Chris. So thank you so much for joining us, Chris.
Thank you so much, Ken, and thank you for the beautiful words. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys being here, taking the time to do this. I love being able to see people come try to better themselves and learn and continue to be students. That's one thing that I always push for. You need to be students for life. Just because you graduated college, high school, any type of degree, certifications, doesn't mean that it stops there. We need to continue learning every single day. I'm an example of that. I didn't know that maybe at the age of 36, I was going to go back to college to pursue my bachelor's degree in artificial intelligence. And I'm also currently doing that at MDC, and I'm also teaching some AI cohorts in MDC as well, to Saturdays and Wednesdays. So very excited to be here with all of you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Just to remind you guys, this is an open panel discussion. So at any moment in time, you guys are more than welcome to raise your hands. One of our team members will walk up to you, give you a microphone, and you can ask whatever questions you may have. Like Chris had mentioned before, there are no dumb questions. So please, what you think might be a dumb question could be a really, really amazing question. And then you'll educate all of us. So that's really great. So Chris, AI. What is that? Realistically, you know, this is a fairly new technology in humanity that was introduced to humanity. But a lot of people still don't know what AI is. So would you be able to give us a brief understanding of what that is?
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that is a new technology, right? So artificial intelligence has been something for engineers and scientists that have been pushing since 1950s. So since the 1950s, scientists, engineers have been working in artificial intelligence. Just now, it's a very amazing word that everybody throws around. Artificial intelligence this, I'm going to use artificial intelligence for that. But they've been working on that for a long time. And what is artificial intelligence really? And it's a computer science, all right, that was introduced again in the 1950s. But what it's basically trying to do is it's trying to mimic and replicate how the human brain works inside of machines. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about a big umbrella of what artificial intelligence is. And inside of it, there's a lot of different concepts and technologies of it, right? We're talking about generative AI. We're talking about machine learning. We're talking about supervised learning. So those are all inside of the category of artificial intelligence. And today we're going to be talking specifically on generative AI.
Nice. So ChatGPT, where does that one fall in? Because that's the one that most everybody knows, you know, and I guess that's right. The introduction point to artificial intelligence. Where does ChatGPT fall in?
Right. So ChatGPT falls inside of generative AI, right? When we're talking about generative AI, we're talking about artificial intelligence that creates something new. When it's text, images, video, audio, that's what we talk when we say generative AI. ChatGPT, specifically, some of those models are large language models, right? They understand text. You can input text into them, and they provide you a text output. Obviously, those models now are beginning to be multimodal. That means that they can receive and they can output different types of content. Text, images, video, sounds, music, So that's what we're talking yes. And to answer your question, ChatGPT is inside of the Generative AI
Nice.
product, right? That's a product of Generative AI.
Amazing. And generative AI, that's the one that's going to take all of our jobs, right?
Yes, you are totally right. That's where. No, I'm totally kidding. Let's actually let's put a pause on that. And one thing that I definitely want to say is AI is not here to take over, but it's here to take you guys with it, right? You guys need to leverage this intelligence and this technology to better yourselves, right? We were talking about it the other day, and we were talking about when the internet was introduced, when the car was introduced. This is a type of technology that's revolutionary, and that is imagine, when the car got introduced, now we're able to travel distances that we were not able to do before. Same thing with the internet. The first people that jumped on that train are the Amazons of the world, right? Are the eBay.coms of the world. So definitely when we're talking about that technology, we're talking about get on the train, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're a creator, an entrepreneur, a mom.
In any industry, any industry can benefit and can harness the power of this technology to become a better person, a better entrepreneur, better their business, anything that they want to do.
Do you think those who don't jump on the train will get left behind?
It's the same thing when the internet came out. Those people that didn't create a website then, I don't want to say they got left behind, but for sure they didn't set themselves up like Amazon.com, right? Now Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world, and they started by selling books online, right? They understood the power of that technology. They understood what the internet could do, and maybe then they didn't see the end goal, what is Amazon now, but they understood how powerful that technology was, and they jumped on the train and they continued to work on it, and look where they are now. Definitely, I don't want to say that AI is a replacement for people, but you have to assimilate that technology into yourself, right?
Right. So you said AI is a tool that is going to take us places. So it's important to understand that. It's not going to take anything from you. It's going to take you with it. So it's super important to understand that little piece of information.
And that was one of the main reasons that I started this journey in artificial intelligence. Obviously, I've been here in the studio for a very long time. I've worked with countless creatives. I've seen their journeys, and I started hearing that. Chris, is this going to take my job? Is this technology just going to replace me? And that's one of the reasons that I really started digging very deep into this, is because number one, I want to help. I want to empower people with this technology. And there's a lot of negative connotations behind it, replacement of jobs, all of these things. But we need to look at it from the positive, and we need to look at it what it can do for you, not so much the replacement of it. And we're definitely going to get deeper onto that topic for sure.
You spoke a little bit and briefly about large language models and multimodal, right? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Why should we care about large language models and multimodals?
Yeah. So that was the big breakthrough in artificial intelligence. When they put out this paper called "Attention is All You Need." And in that paper, scientists and engineers put that paper together. And in that paper, they built the roadmap for what artificial intelligence is today. How LLMs work, right? Large language models, how they work. They put that in that paper, and then they just released that. And people started using what they found in that research to create companies like OpenAI, who built ChatGPT, one of the top products in the world now, or the top product in the world when it comes to technology or anything, right? So why is it important to know that? Most of the tools that are out there are built on this technology. So if you know and understand how LLMs work, if you know and understand what multimodal means and what it can do for you, it doesn't only translate to ChatGPT, it translates to all of the tools that are out there for you. And multimodal basically means, and I had already stated this before, but you're inputting multiple types of content, not just text, right? We're moving away from text. We're moving away now into speech, into images, into videos. So we're able to input all of these different types of media, right? And then we're also able to output the same types of media. So That's why it's so important to understand this technology and be able to harness the power of it.
That's amazing. This is a question for the audience. Who here is using artificial intelligence?
Boom.
ChatGPT?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's everybody.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing, right? Considering, again, you said the 1950s, but realistically, to us, it's new,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Correct.
I would say 2 years.
Yeah, I would say it has been about 4 years when OpenAI actually released GPT 2.5 or 2.0. That's when people started seeing the first chatbots. That's what really changed, because the chatbot actually gave an entry point for everyone to be able to talk to this technology and be able to communicate with it. And not just me, I would have to be an engineer. I would have to be a coder to be able to do things like that with artificial intelligence. So the chatbots and the introduction to that product actually allowed for anyone to be able to use it in a very easy way. We understand language. That's our natural way of speaking, right? How we communicate. Right now it's audio and it's speech, but that translates into text. And this is the best thing that those models do, understanding text and predicting that text.
Nice. For you guys, what AI models are you guys using aside from ChatGPT?
Midjourney.
Midjourney.
Midjourney, beautiful.
Okay.
Adobe Firefly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Grammarly.
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 Yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way. Yeah.
Grammarly is one that's been around for a little while, no?
Yeah, and a lot of those tools that we were using in the past, remember, now it's because of the AI hype that is happening, but a lot of those tools have that technology behind them. It was not necessarily a chatbot, and it was not necessarily what we see today in ChatGPT, but it's still using that prediction model to be able to correct, wrong words that you're writing into your email, into whatever word processing you're using. So yes, love that you guys are using that out there.
So autocorrect.
Yes, autocorrect is part of that too. And in auto predictions. So how does Amazon know what products you guys want to buy right after that, right? That's machine learning. It's learning the patterns of your buying, and then it's providing you the products that you would want to use. And that has been happening for a long time. You know, you guys have been going into Amazon for a very long time, and Amazon has been suggesting, like, yes, you should buy that red robe because you bought a green one.
Because you bought this,
right?
You might be interested in that.
That is the beginnings of artificial intelligence. Understanding data, using that data to make predictions. Then, obviously, they introduced the transformer, which is the technology that ChatGPT is built on, that's able to predict your text. And that's why it's so good at your inputs. You input, hey, create this. It already knows the prediction of what you want it to do. So very exciting.
Amazing. What types of generative models should creators be using right now?
Yes, and this is one of the concepts that maybe we will go very deep on, just because there are a couple. But based on the model and what the model's capabilities that they have are, that's how you should be using them, right? So number one, you guys should be using large language models. That's a given, most of you guys already are. ChatGPT is one of them. But also try different ones. Claude for different use cases. Gemini for different use cases. There's a bunch of large language models that are out there for that. There are other models that are not language models, right? There are models that are text to image. You input text, and then it gives you an image. There's models that are image to image. You input an image, and then it enhances that image, or it can modify that image and provide you that output. There's image to video. There's text to speech. There's text to audio. There's text to music, right? You guys have been seeing those new Spotify artists that are coming out that are getting thousands of plays on Spotify. Yeah, those songs were created from a prompt, right? A whole song was created from a prompt. A whole video can be created from a prompt now.
Chris has written a lot of songs for us here.
Yes. Oh yeah. I did the HGAB Studios anthem with it. I've done a couple. So.
No, it's pretty crazy. Chris has even created a full-blown podcast episodes just from prompting.
Yes.
And it sounds incredible. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a human and an AI.
Right. And the use cases for that, right? It's fun to be able to create a podcast about whatever topic. But imagine you're trying to learn a specific topic, or you're trying to engage your employees to learn what the new product that is coming out is. imagine providing them a podcast that is entertaining and explains that to them. Instead of doing training, you can provide podcasts. People love podcasts now. So we need to start using that technology, yes, for fun, and it's amazing to do it, but what are the use cases? What are the true use cases that can be applied to today in business and in bettering yourselves?
Anybody have any questions so far? Sal, can you give her the microphone?
So I think that's great, everything you can do, but are you afraid that you may be hacked and somebody creates a podcast with your AI or your voice and your content? And how do you protect that?
Yeah, so that is a big conversation, and then that gets a little bit more into the legal aspects of artificial intelligence. There's models that you can download and run in your computer, and with about 10 seconds of your voice, I can just replicate your voice and make you say anything, right? And we talk about that in our ethics class when we're studying in MTC. We have an ethics class when it comes into AI. What are the ethical ways to use it, right? There are some boundaries in there, right? I can take a picture of yourself. I can replicate you doing X thing. Eventually, and you are seeing that more in Europe and in other countries, the UN is actually ahead of the United States when it comes to laws of artificial intelligence, how we can use them, right? Your likeness, and eventually that's going to be something that we're going to have to develop, a way to have IP on your likeness, IP in your voice, and that AIs are able to recognize that I do not have the IP to just take a picture of you and put it through whatever system and generate images with your likeness, right? So those are frameworks that people are already working on today to be able to make AI safe in the future, for sure.
Yeah, right now I want to say in the United States it's kind of the wild, wild west.
Yes, and I do definitely want to say one thing about that. You see that Europe, and you know that Europe and other countries are a little bit behind in the AI race, but it's because they have put those safeguards already. So that does stifle a little bit of innovation, where in the US, like you mentioned, it is the Wild West. But that's why we're able to innovate so much faster than in other countries, because we don't really have those safeguards here. If you guys are looking in the news, OpenAI, companies like Google, Claude, they actually wanted to pass a law where there would be no laws on how they train their models, what they do with them for 10 years. Something that didn't pass. And something that is going to be, again, in the ballot to be voted on, but something very important to be looking into.
Hey, so I love how you touched on the ethics of AI. I thought that's like an important aspect that's probably important for a lot of creatives as well. I feel like you super thoroughly covered the cybersecurity aspects or identity theft protection in that sense. But how can we kind of deal with the ethical implications of generative AI when it comes to the source material of pulling from all the art that has ever been published online? I'm coming as I used to be a super AI hater. Now I use it as a tool, to help me with some tasks. But this is the part that always makes me stop. What do you do with all the art that's being sourced for everything we generate?
Yeah, and you're definitely seeing that in the news now. Midjourney just got sued by Disney, Sony, and some other companies, because you're able to just say, hey, create Darth Vader in a cafeteria in school, and it will definitely create that for you. And when you're talking about a model that can actually do that, it means that it was trained with data that can replicate that. Because how can it create such a high fidelity image from Darth Vader without being trained on that data? You wouldn't be able to do that. So companies are gonna have to take action on that, because they can 100% create models that is not trained on copyrighted data, on data that is out there, and still make good models. Adobe, for example, and we were talking about it today, Adobe's taking a big stance on that, and they're not using any copyrighted material or any material that they don't have access to legally to be able to train their models. Again, we see the results that we get in Adobe, and those models are not as good as Midjourney, because obviously they don't have the large amount of data that they're being used to create Midjourney and to train those models, right? But at some point, something's gonna give, and laws are gonna come into place, and those companies are going to have to adhere by those laws, and they're gonna have to make changes. And that's something that I am, as much as, of an AI lover that I am and supporter of it, something that is definitely needs to be put in place before something, before that doom that everybody talks about AI comes. So that was a great question. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we also saw a little issue with Studio Ghibli recently, where everybody was creating themselves as a Studio Ghibli character. You mentioned training a model.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so when we're talking about when ChatGPT or when OpenAI, Gemini, Google, Anthropic, they release models, we're talking about models that were trained with data, right? So you always see that in the models, it says, hey, trained with data up to January 2025. So that means that that model has information from the internet or sources that they gather up to that date. So if I was to say, hey, today, what happened? That's what will cause hallucinations or will cause something to come up with an answer, right? That's when you would use tools like search to be able to search what's happening today to be able to get a better output. But yes, when we're talking about training, we mean we're gathering data, we're giving it to this artificial intelligence, and it's learning from that data, but up to a certain point. And then that model gets released. It doesn't mean that it continues training on the data that is given every day. It means that it got trained up to that point and is able to create answers up to that point. That's what we mean by training a model.
So feeding it all the information needed to create a Studio Ghibli character.
Yes, and like I mentioned before, the reason that it's so good at that is because 100% it was trained with some data that had Studio Ghibli for it to be able to replicate the likeness of that style, of those characters so well.
And we're talking about sketches, movies, pictures of these characters.
Yes, 100%, because we're talking also about, and maybe we touched upon a little bit that with the legal panel that we had last time, but when you guys are uploading things to Instagram, social media, we all skip the terms and conditions, right? We saw what happened with CapCut, right? We don't read those terms and conditions and we just upload our pictures, upload our stuff. Little do we know that we're giving free range for these models to train on that data. So make sure that when you guys are using any type of tool, not even just AI tools, you guys are looking at those terms and conditions and how they're using that. Because that's moving forward, that's gonna be a very, very big conversation of if I'm using this certain application, where is my data going? And is it being used to train artificial intelligence models?
Adobe is doing the same thing.
Yes, and Adobe is doing it in a way that is ethical, more ethical, I would say, than most companies. The same thing with Claude, Anthropic's Claude models. They're being trained more ethically than any of the other models. They're actually taking a lot of big measures to not have copyrighted materials, to ask for permission if they are using those things. So there are some people that are putting the standard of what that is. But again, we're talking about ethics. We're talking about them doing it for themselves, not because the law tells them to do it, but because they feel that ethically they need to do that. So very important distinction in there.
Super cool. They're basically governing themselves.
Yes, yeah, and they're trying to set a standard to it. And they're not, one of the cool things about Anthropic and companies like Adobe is that they're not trying to shame people that are not doing that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to educate and they're trying to get people to get on board with these things. Not because they're trying to be better or to stifle innovation in other models, but because they really think that we should all come together to be able to create a baseline on what the ethical uses of data and the content that is being created with it.
So they're essentially leading by example. So
Yes,
that's
yeah.
super cool.
If it comes to anyone that is leading by example, definitely research Anthropic, research how they're training their models. They're definitely leading the race in that sense.
Amazing. We touched up on what artificial intelligence is. But we're going to segue into creative augmentation versus replacement. These are all words that I've just learned too, by the way. So we're all in this together. What is creative augmentation? What is that?
Yeah, so creative augmentation, I wouldn't say it's a new terminology, but now with AI, it has been something that has been reintroduced. But basically leveraging any kind of tool that you guys are using today, even if it's not AI, you guys are augmenting yourselves as creators, as entrepreneurs, as business owners. You guys are already doing that. Now, this is a new tool that you guys have to be able to augment yourselves, right? When we talked about cognitive load, right? How much brain power it takes me to do research for a marketing strategy, how much effort it takes me to analyze data to measure how my KPIs in my business are doing, right? That's a lot of cognitive load that we used to do and have to do with our brains. Now, we have artificial intelligence that can help us do that, and that is called cognitive offloading. We're offloading that cognitive load into an AI intelligence that is helping us with that. But one thing that I want to say is now we have space to be able to focus on the more important things, right? Because if I could have something that can analyze vast amounts of data, but now I can use my reasoning, my strategy, my experience to augment that output that I'm getting from those models, that's what we're talking about when it's augmenting yourself, right? And there's a lot of use cases for it. And the more and more that you use artificial intelligence, the more that you're doing that. You're offloading some of that cognitive function. But one thing that I don't want you guys to do is to just, hey, copy and paste. Copy and paste results. Grab it, paste it, that's fine. Still give it your taste. Still give it your experience. Hey, awesome, you gave me this data, but you know what? I know that my customers do X, and you never mentioned that here. Insert that back to the model. See what it gives you, right? Because that experience, the model doesn't have. That's what you're bringing in into the team. It's a collaboration. It's not a replacement. Damn, bars.
You want to do it? You want to drop it? You want to do it? Hey! I love that you say that because I personally haven't written an email in months. No, that's not true. Yeah, so it's necessarily not replacing you. It's, again, going back to helping you.
Yes.
And it's helping you, or it should be helping you doing that day-to-day mundane thing, like writing emails. Right. You know, like not every email deserves, sorry if I've sent you an email here, Michelle, not every email deserves so much like of your own personal input and power.
Yeah, and we're talking about systems that maybe if you leverage them correctly today, they also understand how you want to answer those emails. They understand the person that you're writing this email to, right? It's not just a system that is creating a base email that's saying like, oh yeah, thank you for your response, here you go. It's saying like, hey, I'm actually answering to Kendrick, and he likes to be called Ken when I answer for him. And actually, he doesn't like long emails, he likes short bullet points. Let me send the email that way to him instead, right? So we need to be use this technology to our advantage and use all of the, all of the amazing tools that it has at its disposal to be able to generate things like that. Yes, you don't have to answer every single email, but can you answer it with AI and still be part of that loop, right? And then that's what we call human in the loop. People that are not using AI in that way, where they're just, hey, copy, paste, here you go. Here's the email, just sends it off. They're not humans in the loop. They're not collaborating with AI. Treat it as an assistant and treat it as a tutor as well. And it doesn't have to be with code. It can be with anything. Hey, I want to learn how to color better. What are some of the things that, and we'll get a little bit into prompting eventually, but what is 20%, what is and this is a prompt that people use a lot. What is 20% of a subject that I can learn that will augment me 80%, right? So that is something very powerful to ask an AI, because now it's going to analyze what is the small thing that I can learn from this aspect of something that can gain and that can give me the knowledge of 80% of what I'm trying to do. So something that is very powerful, and I stand by it as much as like, yes, it does give you superpowers.
That's actually pretty cool. I've never used that prompt, and I will do it now. You know, we've all been scrolling through Instagram and the web, and every once in a while I'll catch myself saying, that's AI. And I feel like a lot of us here have already been like, that's not true, that's AI. What can we do to stand out when it comes to quality?
Yep.
And AI and everything that's being pumped out on AI right now?
Yeah, so I think that obviously social media marketing, you still need to provide value. You still need to provide shock, right? So no matter if you are amazing at creating AI and you're still not doing that, you're not using it correctly, right? As far as quality, and then you see it in now, social media is full of artificial intelligence content, right? How do you stand out? How do you make it you? How do you add your flavor to it? That's what's gonna make you stand out. Because everybody's using the same tools. Everybody has the same prompting techniques, right? But how do you stand out? By being you and by adding your flavor to it, right? Hey, I wanna not have and this is something that they talk about, that AI look, right? That plastic face look, where it's just, oh no, it's just a perfect look. Have you ever prompted a model to say, hey, give that model that you just provided me some imperfections in her skin, and add that and see what it would provide for you, right? Add those special flavors that you have. So definitely when it comes to standing out, is add your flavor to whatever AI you're using. Remember, it's collaboration. It's not just copy and paste.
Some people sometimes mistake me for AI.
It's because you look so beautiful, or
Yeah. That plastic look.
okay.
Where do you draw the line between offloading tasks and losing authorship and like yourself with AI?
Yeah, and there's one of the things that, and we spoke about a little bit, when people are trying to automate tasks and trying to, hey, let me just completely automate my business. That's a big task. That's a big task to ask even AI, right? But if you start doing it little by little and practicing on smaller tasks and then moving forward on that, understanding how the AI can accomplish something so small, it will build as blocks. People, and this is not artificial intelligence, that's just good systems that you're building for yourself. If you're trying to solve the biggest system that you have in your life with artificial intelligence, you're gonna get burnt out and you're not gonna accomplish it. But if you start doing smaller steps, hey, let me automate something that is 1 hour of my day completely with artificial intelligence, and that is a perfect system, and that can give the best answers that it can, that's how you start, right? You don't want to be the person that's trying to automate everything, because you'll never get to it. You have to set up your systems and create a good base for yourself. And that way, you learn how to use artificial intelligence on those smaller tasks that will eventually translate to being able to fully automate your business.
Yeah, you and I were talking the other day, and like, you mentioned something that really resonated to me, and it was like, instead of asking, ChatGPT to build out the next quarter's marketing plan, because it's such a robust question or ask for this thing, you said, hey, why don't we look at what our day-to-day looks like when it comes to our marketing techniques and plans, and start from there. So start from the ground up. So definitely, if you're looking to do something, just look at the mundane tasks that you're doing on a day-to-day basis and ask your AI model, hey, help me out with these things first before going full, run my whole business.
Yeah, 100%. And definitely you can use it to, and we're going to get a little bit into this now with prompt engineering and being a good prompter. When let's say that you are trying to create a marketing plan for somebody, or marketing strategy. How about asking first to give you the voice of how you should be speaking to your audience? Receiving that information first, and then develop the marketing plan, right? That's just giving a lot more information to the artificial intelligence system that you're using than just create a marketing plan for my business, right? We need to be power users of prompting. We need to be power users of this technology. We can't do prompts that are, give me an image of a boy. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Right? Give me an image of a boy from the top-down camera angle with dramatic lighting. He's wearing a red shirt, and he has a dramatic face looking into the sun, right? We're giving it more information, and it can give us better outputs. If we just say, and you guys can test this, and say, give me an image of a boy, in every single model is gonna be something different. But if you give it more descriptions, you're narrowing down what you want the output to be. So definitely prompting.
Yeah, which is actually a really great segment into the next topic, which is becoming a power prompter. What is prompting? What does that even mean? Where do I put it? Where do I put the prompt?
Yeah, right. And one of the reasons that still in the classes at MDC is something that we push forward a lot is the prompting and the prompting essentials. Because if you are a powerful prompter, and I'm gonna go into what prompting is, but if you're a powerful prompter, that translates to every single tool. Go to any artificial intelligence tool today. How do you start? From a prompt, from inputting information into it, right? So if you build a good base on your prompting, then you're gonna be able to be good in every single tool. Every single tool starts that way. Even if you're speaking to it, that is a prompt, right? Even if you're giving it information like images, that's still part of the prompt. They're turning that image into text that it can understand, and then is creating something from it. So basically, prompting is being able to engineer words that the LLM can understand for a specific task, right? So again, and we gave an example of, hey, create a marketing strategy for my business. Again, that's not power prompting. That is very vague. What does that mean, right? But there's different techniques like adding a role to your LLM or to your chat that you're using. Hey, you're a marketing expert with 15 years of experience in marketing. Then give it the goal. You're creating a report that has this type of data, this many sections, and I want you to do citations from these websites. Very different prompt and very different answer that you will get from these LLMs when you're using it that way, right? When you're providing more information than just, hey, your marketing plan. And in the industry, there's a term or there's a saying called garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage into ChatGPT, that's exactly what you're gonna get. And don't be surprised about it because it's only as good as the prompter, right? So, but if you're putting a good prompt, very detailed, with specific tasks, with specific outputs, with an example of what you want it to do, that's what we call a power prompter.
That's awesome. Garbage in, garbage out. Sounds like my eating habits. That's not on the card.
Was that joke by ChatGPT?
No, it wasn't.
No. Okay,
but
good.
all these questions were. No, I'm kidding. Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Yeah, please don't let me talk here all by myself.
Yes, please. We're flying through this thing, so.
So I work with a lot of brands and clients. How do you guys, I guess, suggest that we start introducing our clients to that? Because one thing is doing it for us and just playing around and having fun, but how do you start introducing our clients to all these tools and all these different automations and LLMs and everything? Because most of my clients have no idea how to use some of these things, and I'm just wondering.
Yeah, and that is a great question. And I have seen multiple people do it in different ways, but the number one thing that I would say is education. You need to educate those people about it. Hey, what about creating a newsletter that you send to them about this technology, right? Hey, can we do a 30-minute stand-up meeting about artificial intelligence? I just want, once a week, I want to talk to you about a tool that I'm using currently today. Because the more that they lose the fear, and a lot of it is just fear of not understanding what this technology can do for them, that they don't use it or they disregard it, right? But if you're able to educate them a little bit, show them what the technology can do, and show them the different capabilities of this technology, I think that that's the best way to be able to introduce that to the team. Because it's also not very aggressive, right? Because you can say like, hey, like you must use this tool tomorrow because why are you not using it? That's not a good approach, right? Education and really like being able to explain to them why they should be using it, that is a very nice approach. That's an approach that I've used here. I don't demand that they use the AI tools, right? I'm not an AI dictator. But I show them examples. Hey, check this out. Look what I did with this tool. And they're like, oh my God, you did that? I want to do that. Beautiful. Here you go, right? So definitely when it comes to that, education, I would say is number one for me. If you're able to educate them and be able to explain to them the capabilities of it, I think they will definitely come around and be able to use that technology as well.
May I ask what industry?
Specifically of what client?
Well, you're asking how do I educate my clients on AI? I'm wondering what industry you're in to to be the one to educate your clients?
Got it. Well, I've been a designer for a while, graphic designer. I've done branding and all that. But for example, I have a client that is in real estate. You know, they're a real estate brokerage, and I can see all these different tools and how they can pretty much automate a lot of their business. But for them, it's really hard to kind of get it. They see ChatGPT and they use ChatGPT, but they still don't see the power of everything that they can do with it. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at of, okay, how do I introduce all this, and how do I then, keep using it throughout their whole course of their business? I
Right.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
you're
a great
saying
question.
more like, how do I educate my clients to educate themselves to better their businesses using AI?
Right, exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
I thought it was more like, how do I educate my clients to use AI to help me
Oh, okay.
in my workflow, which you can definitely do.
Yeah, that's the thing too, and definitely the crowd that is here, it's very different from some people that I talk about, AI about, right? Some people don't use it at all. There's people that are a full architect firm that is not using not even ChatGPT in any of their workflows, right? And to people like that, it is very overwhelming to be like, hey, here you go. These are all the tools that you can do. This is the workflow, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Very overwhelming. That's why education, number one, is a good way, but starting off small. Hey, look at this use case. Let's work on that. Let's talk about that use case. Look what it can do for you. Instead of introducing all of the tools and what all of the things can do, because it's endless. There's tools out there for everything, literally everything. But what can you introduce that is going to solve a specific task for them tomorrow? And that's how I approach it here in the studio as well, too. There's a lot of tools that I can introduce, but am I going to confuse or am I going to overwhelm my staff with it? More like, hey, here's one way to do it. And something that we integrated literally this week was custom GPTs or a custom chat for specific meetings or problems, right? We have one specifically for a meeting that we're talking about. Something secret that I can't really release today, but but that chat helps them because now they can go into that chat. It already has all the knowledge about that meeting, and instead of just maybe ideating by themselves, creating stuff by themselves, now they have the support of a chat that has all the information that they can use. So definitely step by step, little movements definitely help a lot.
Sal, wake up.
When you were talking about amplification and offloading, do I need to be louder?
All right, we're going to need ChatGPT for that one.
Yeah.
When you were talking about your cognitive amplification and about cognitive offload, I'm thinking as a creative, they say that it's best for you to spend your time in your area of genius. So I think if I were to, I feel like as a busy business owner, I'm constantly being pulled away from my studio to create work because I have so many things to do between contracts, Zoom calls, team meetings with creative directors and this and that. And then if I were to boil down my area of genius, it would be photography, retouching, and then anything with human interaction with the client, like my personality. So if I want to keep those intact, photography, retouching, using generative tool, and human interaction, what are some technologies that you recommend that could take some time off my plate as a business owner so I can focus more time on those things?
And that's a beautiful question. And we've been using a lot of new technologies here to be able to do that for us. Are you already using an AI system to go into meetings with you and transcribe them for you?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you then inserting that into whatever LLM, ChatGPT, or whatever you use to be able to give you action items in what you should be doing after those meetings?
No, I just use it as a summary to refer back if we're like, well, where's this? And I said, oh, in our meeting you said this, so that's what I gave you.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. You're already using something like that, right? The next thing will be to create, and I would say, custom GPTs for those specific clients that are going to help you summarize some of those things for you, that are going to help you create emails if you have to, create specific emails for them. And literally after that is workflows, right? Right after my meeting, can that transcript be automatically sent to my agent? Can it already give me the action points for the next meeting? You need to start thinking about those systems and what it is that you're trying to offload to artificial intelligence, and you already have it, right? All those other tasks. Make a list of those tasks. Where are you touching those tasks in that moment? The meeting, the transcribing. How do you start automating all of those little ones to start saving yourself time and then be able to redirect that time to the things that you want to do, which is obviously your photography, your retouching. And not only that, but give yourself time to learn more about it. And then eventually, how can I then add some AI workflows to those areas that then I can be more specific on what I love about those things. What is it that you love the most about retouching? What are those other things that you don't love about it too much that can then be replaced by artificial intelligence? So I would say it's little steps.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, you can.
So a lot of the things that I do, like for example, pricing, I don't have a package. It's just scope of work. What's your scope of work? They think the scope of work is this, but then when I make them describe it, guess what? It's twice that big, and you're paying twice as much now. So I don't really have things that are like, if I write an email with ChatGPT, then I have to proofread it, then I have to make it sound more like me. It's like anything that I try to automate, it doesn't save time for me. The only thing is like CYA things, like, like transcribing the things so that when, we wanted tropical colors. Well, that's not what you said. It's right here. So anything that I try to automate, because my systems are specific to every contract, every client, every scope of work, I haven't found ways to I use a CRM platform, but still I have to put the scope of work and the price and everything into the CRM platform. So I don't know, I guess my big thing is as creators, if we want to focus on creating, what are actual ways that we can offload all that other shit? So we can go back to doing what we actually love to do, especially if it's not, I don't have, these are my packages and prices, tell me which one you want. It's very precise to each contract.
Right. And I feel that that's not an artificial intelligence problem, that's a systems problem, right? Because you can have examples of every single time that you do give one of those quotes, for example, right? And you can call a large language model and say, hey, based on all of those examples, now look at this new example that is coming in. And based on that, then give me an output for it, right? It's gonna now give you a better answer than just you saying hey, here's the scope of work. It has no information of what you have done in the past. It doesn't know your pricing. All of those things can be added to your LLMs. All of that information can be added. Do you have a PDF already with all of your pricing? And maybe pricing that has gotten a little bit different because of certain things that you touch, right? Certain different aspects, different features, different services that you're providing.
The annoying client upcharge.
Yes, that should be one too.
It is one.
Exactly.
It's a real thing.
That should be one too, and it should be in there. And then when you prompt it,
You go, girl.
yeah,
You can see my bill for your next session.
Oh boy.
you can have a code word for it. Hey, code word red. This is deploy the annoying client, right, framework for it. So it's not about AI. It's about the systems. You need to have a better base for your systems for those automations to happen. And that's why I always say start small, because once you start try to automate a system that has many moving parts, there's a lot of fail points in there. But if you have a system that takes 2 steps, could you get that perfect? I'm pretty sure you can, right? Start with that one. See how you do that workflow first, and then move on to the one that has 5 steps, 10 steps, different information. So yes, I don't know if I answered your question. Is that okay? Yeah.
What Chris is trying to say, in layman's terms,
Yeah, sorry, I don't know.
feed it past work and past proposals and so on and so forth, so you can train your personal model to give you a better output when it comes to these automations, right?
Yes, and there's tools inside of all of this AI systems like ChatGPT, and there's a tool that we spoke about called RAG, Augmented Retrieval Generation, right? And what that does for you is you're able to upload all of this content, and instead of the LLM just going and giving you an answer, it will check that content first before it gives you an answer. Again, the example of giving it your pricing, giving it different past quotes that you have given it. It's not going to give you a random answer at that point and maybe say, hey, like, yeah, I think that this should be priced this. No, it's going to say, you priced this before this way. And in that one occasion that you priced it specifically with the features that this person's also asking for, is going to use that price. Those models are intelligent that way. They're very good at finding those patterns between data, right? And artificial intelligence is all data. It's very good at analyzing data, is very good at doing that. So make sure that you have examples of what you're trying to do. Make sure that you have your systems, your pricing, all of that ready, and that system is going to give you way more intelligent answers.
And that also goes back to saying AI is not replacing us, because we still need to go in there and make sure that the information that it's giving us is correct. So therefore, it still needs that human element, and it still needs that human factor of checking whether it's right or wrong. So I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. And a lot in the AI industry, they talk about, the replacement job losses, job replacements, and AI replacing a lot in most jobs. A lot of people say before that happens, there's going to have to be managers of artificial intelligence. And this is another term that I know you guys have been hearing it, AI agents. There's going to be managers of AI agents before the replacement happens. So that's why it's so important for you to know how to talk to these models, how to talk to this technology, so that you are a manager of artificial intelligence, right? And you don't get lost in the sauce of job replacements, losing your jobs. It's important to be able to communicate with them and be able to get the best outputs. And when we talk about prompting and prompt engineering, it's important because there's already positions in businesses that are just prompt engineers. So businesses needs people that can come in and write a prompt that can automate a system like that, right? And if you guys see how much those people are getting paid a year for those things, then you know that it really matters, right? So get your basics down. Prompting. If you practice that again translates to every single tool.
Continuing the conversation on prompting, what makes someone a power prompter? And I think you already kind of touched up on it. It's more like getting very narrow,
yes,
when it comes to prompting
and
your AI.
Yes, and one thing that you guys can do, because you're not going to be a power prompter from day one, right? But what things can you do to become a power prompter, right? Maybe you can use ChatGPT to do research, deep research on one tool. Hey, how does Adobe want to receive prompts? And not only that, but have it do research on Reddit, have it do research on other forums where people are putting their experiences with it, receive that information, and now create a custom chat that all you have to do is explain your idea, and it provides you the perfect prompt for Adobe Firefly, right? That's a workflow that can save you time, and that's a small workflow, 2 steps, right? Provide the prompt, or provide your idea, and it gives you back a perfect prompt for Adobe Firefly. And it's not just doing it from nowhere. It did research on what people are actually doing. It read blogs. It went to Reddit and saw other people's past experiences with it, and then it built a whole intelligence just on how you can be a power prompter for Adobe. And that could be applied to any tool, ChatGPT, Midjourney, Runway, whatever tool you're using to create content. So it's something very powerful to do.
It's funny that you say that, because I once had ChatGPT school me on how to be a better prompter to ask it to do something.
Yeah.
It literally said, in the future, you should probably try using this to get what you want. And in my mind, I was like, if you already knew that, why didn't you do it the first time? Like, why are you schooling me? Like, you should have done it 5 prompts ago.
Right, but that's the perfect example of garbage in, garbage out, right?
That's me, man.
Hey, it's going to, is whatever input you give it, that's what it's going to give you, right? And if it's garbage, it's going to be garbage, right? But you need to learn how to be able to talk to the systems if you guys want to be those managers of artificial intelligence in the future. Go ahead.
Speaking about learning how to prompt, is there any AI programs that you can suggest that we can feed these Reddit places or other types of prompts to become better prompters? Can we use ChatGPT to do that? Or is it, because you keep speaking about you can train your AI model, and it's like, are we having to create our own assistants, or can we use the programs that are already available to do so?
Yes, so in all of the platforms for LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, you can create what is called a custom GPT or a custom chat. And you can give it instructions on what you want it to do. Hey, I want you to be an expert prompter in Midjourney. I only want you to use these resources to be able to look at what the best practices are for prompting in that. Do research, create your system prompt, and then every time that you speak to that chat, it already has all of that knowledge. So in all of those different LLMs, Claude, Gemini, all of those can do that. You can create a custom chat that is not just everything, it's specifically for prompting.
Right, and so the more I feed it, the better it gets. And
Yes.
it's just solely focus on that.
Because then you can start adding more documents.
Right.
Let's say eventually you do better research on what Midjourney wants to be. You can add that file in there, and then now it also has that information. So when it's providing that prompt for you, now it's looking at the past information, the new information, it can make a decision of, hey, this is what has changed in how prompting is better now in Midjourney. Let's make sure that we use this now. Or let's make sure that we use the things in the past that 100% work, right? So, great question.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Who here has created a custom agent? Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. Who here would like to learn how to create a custom agent?
That's
It's time, Chris.
It's time. Let's do it.
We didn't know when it was going to be time, but we know. No, that was good. That's good. This is something that I would highly recommend everyone paying attention, because this will change the way that you use ChatGPT or any other AI tool that you guys have.
And just to show off a little bit, I can show you guys what good prompting can accomplish when you're using it, even to generate media, but this goes across anything. So this here is an example. So if you're a good prompter when it comes to content creation, you can maneuver through certain failure points that these models have, right? We always talk about, okay, creating the same likeness of someone in a video and then keeping it again in a separate video. People struggle a lot with that. But if you're a good prompter and you're describing this video, how this person looks, what the scenery looks like, you guys can accomplish things like this. So that's a small short film that you guys did, and the consistency of the character wasn't perfect. Right?
No, it wasn't. When you first showed me that, the first thing that came to my mind was the character kind of changes a little bit over the 3 scenes.
And it does, yes.
But you told me something that kind of blew my mind, and how to keep the character consistent.
Right. And basically, what you guys can do is you guys can take the last frame of that video, upload it to ChatGPT, tell it to describe that person to you, describe the scene, describe the background, and have it, number one, grab that image, put it into your image to video model, right? So you're giving it that first frame, and now you gave it the whole description of what that person looks like, and then tell it to take an action. So now it knows a little bit more of what that person can look like, and now it has that first frame. So it would start a lot better than doing it without that. The difficult thing with VO3, which is a Google model that it just came out, is that it doesn't have capabilities to insert pictures. It's just with prompting. So that's why this example is so important, is because through prompting, you're able to try to capture the likeness of that person, and it doesn't have a reference of an image. Because if it has a reference of an image, then you can do things like this next video, which...
Yes.
That was VO3. That's Google's video model. Yeah, it does have a very steep subscription. It's about $250 a month, but it does give you capabilities to generate a lot of models.
And wait, before you play the next one, we saw in there not only video, but audio.
Yes.
Which is huge because it doesn't really know what's happening.
Yes, 100%. And one thing that I want to say, number one, VO3 is the only video model out there today that can create video and audio together. Every other model can give you video output, but no audio. It doesn't understand what's happening in the scene. You guys heard the footsteps, but we mentioned that this is a collaboration. I'm not an editor. I'm not a video editor. I'm not a film buff, right? But you guys out there that are that, could you have augmented this video by adding a soundtrack to it? Better cuts, right? So you guys need to be able to be, again, collaborators, not just copy and paste. This was an example of me copying and pasting, right?
So
and maybe just giving it a small cut in between, right?
So you're saying this video could have gotten better if we would have prompted to say, using an Arri Alexa with a Kook lens, 50 millimeter, with the lighting coming from wherever, it would have generated a little bit of a better image, even though that was already a pretty badass
100%.
image.
I added motion into cameras, but I didn't add that information because I don't even know what you just said right now. Like, what was that? You know what I mean? Like, what just happened?
It was a camera and a lens.
Right. It was like the camera's moving this way. It's an awesome camera, right? Like,
yeah.
Ari, what? You know, that's different, right?
Who's Alexa?
Yeah. And then this is the capabilities of a model where you can input an image and also a prompt. So this is shout out to Blood Orchid. This is an artist that come to the studio a lot. He creates content from here. And then he came up to me and he's like, hey, Chris, I want to light myself on fire in the studio. And I was like, hey, that's not going to happen. Sorry about that. Sorry, that's not going to happen. But what I can do...
But us being us,
right.
There's always a solution.
There's always a solution for it. You know, and I was like, but if you give me a still of the video, I can try to help you with this. And I say tried because obviously this is all trial and error with these things, right? And these models are good, but they're not 100% good, right? And we mentioned this and we spoke about this, but they're the worst that they're ever going to be today. It's never gonna get worse than this. It's only gonna get better, right? So he came up to me, boom. So this one is from an image plus a prompt. Imagine how much that would have cost. Number one, you need to have a fire
permit, at least.
Fire permit, fire attendant,
an
here,
extinguisher
like, being able to
somewhere.
look at you. And did you guys see the lighting on his face from the fire? Even if you're able to use CGI, and even if you're able to add this to the video, how long would that take? This video took 8 minutes to render, and I just provided the image and a good prompt.
Can you play it and pause it
Yeah.
so we can see it? Crazy. That's
Right.
it.
Look at his face.
It's lit.
Look at
Literally.
right. Look at yeah, right. But I guess enough of showing off a little bit of this, right? And then we can go into the custom GPT.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can you show the other one? Because I think Michelle would really
Which
appreciate the tripping animals.
The
one.
tripping animals one, yeah.
Look at this, Michelle.
So this was also again from an image and a prompt, but this time it was just an iPhone image that I took of this beer can, and then plus a prompt of it doing this motion.
To be fair, this is nothing near what Michelle creates
right
here in the studio.
no, I'm sure. Like,
but it's kind of cool to
but
see.
it's more to show the capabilities of it, right? Yes.
She does this in real life and takes
Again,
pictures.
right? Again, from a prompt, from an image. Something that I wouldn't be able to do by myself. But now I augmented myself, not as a video editor, not as a person that can do CGI. I don't know how to use After Effects. I'm trying to learn now to be able to add more things to that, right? But I can do this. It's amazing. And the last thing that I want to show you guys, and this is kind of like the last test that I've been doing, and this is for the more advanced video users, people that can use After Effects and can do things like that. There's something called a depth map, right? I can grab a video, remove all the information from it, and just have the depth points of that video. And then I can input that into certain models that accept that kind of input. That's not an image anymore, right? That's a video input, but it's a very specific input, and can create things like this. So this is the example of a depth map, right? You guys see some kind of scenery in the background. You guys see the silhouette of what we can consider a woman walking forward. I can grab that and through a prompt say, hey, create a woman in Tokyo. Create a woman walking in Santorini. Create a woman walking through Paris, right? Through New York. So from the same input, you guys can create things like that, and it's gonna keep the same fidelity of the motion of what that person is doing. All of them are following the same motion. All of them are doing the same things, right? Santorini, beautiful. Look at that. It changes the background to Santorini. Let's see, what's the next one? Tokyo. Woman in Tokyo.
That's pretty insane.
So that's where the state of these models are at, right? And that's the latest model that came out from a Chinese company that allows you to do things like this because you can input those depth maps. But that's as worse as those models are gonna get today. So always imagine and think of the capabilities of the future when you guys are using artificial intelligence, for sure.
Another crazy thing that Chris did earlier, and this might be a little bit frowned upon, but I'm going to share with you guys, is we've had a lot of amazing clients walk through the door in the last 10 years that we've been in existence. And Chris was able to feed a lot of that information into a custom agent. So whenever I need information as to when Michelle's birthday is, for example, it'll pop up on the agent. I don't know when your birthday is, but it's like, or how many times has Michelle visited the studio in the last 5 years, and it'll give me that information.
Yes, and
so
it's powerful.
Super useful tools.
Yeah, it's powerful because you can say, hey, this person has purchased this product this many times in your studio. How can I speak to this person for it to, and how much more value can I give to this person based on their buying patterns with us, in their usage of our space? So those are the things that maybe are not there just upfront for you to see that you could do with this data, but data is patterns. This is, and this is the best technology to be able to analyze that and be able to provide custom wording, custom messages to your clients to be able to speak to them. With AI, and now everything's gonna be customized for you, because I'm gonna have an AI that truly understands what you want to do in our space, and is able to provide you those products. It's able to remind you, hey, like, I know that you have something coming up. Let me help you with that information, right? So that's the power of this tools.
Data is patterns.
Yes.
But data is also power.
Yeah, data is power. Data is power.
100%.
If there is no data, artificial intelligence started from data. If there is no data, there's no artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Chap in the back. Sal, can you hook him up? You might have to get up on this one. Oh, no.
A question more for those that haven't used AI to the best of their or
Okay.
fullest ability.
Yeah. My mom.
You've mentioned throughout all of this, hop on the train. Models like this are at the lowest form they'll be at this form. We're always getting newer. What stage are we at in AI?
So yeah, right now we are very close to what people are calling artificial general intelligence. So artificial general intelligence means that these AI systems can do pretty much everything that a human can do. We are very close to that, right? Especially with advancements in robotics. You guys are gonna see the labor force also approach this artificial general intelligence, but we haven't reached that yet. These models still are very data hungry, are very power hungry, and the infrastructure is not there to be able to support something like artificial general intelligence today. Unless we start tapping into power sources like more solar, more wind, nuclear power, which is the only way that we're going to be able to reach, number one, the computing power that it would take to have a system that can achieve artificial general intelligence. So we are at that change, right? But if I want to say anything, we are at the change of us becoming, again, managers of this artificial intelligence technologies, right? Of these agents. That's where we are now. So my focus on prompting was because prompting is the way to control these agents and for us to be able to command them to what we want them to do. So practice your prompting and practice being able to delegate and again, the offloading of your cognitive function to the systems for the things that are not what you want to do, right? There's more important things that are out there to do yourself or anybody else that you could be doing if you were just able to leverage this to be able to remove all of that noise and then truly be in the path of doing what you need to be doing. So that's where we are at right now.
So we're not in the matrix yet.
No, not yet.
But we will be. Not kidding.
Any other questions?
Wow.
I have one question.
Yeah.
And we've been playing around with the idea of maybe developing a class here at HGAB Studios where you guys can come and be able to, well, number one, learn how to use these tools, but also learn how to maybe be very specific on the use cases. Would you guys be interested in something like that? You know, can I hear maybe some feedback, some thoughts on what you guys would want to see in classes like that?
Like a more in-depth.
In-depth, a specific tool, a specific subject, a specific industry. What would you guys like to see?
I think personally, I would enjoy how to, okay, so backstory, I just feel like sometimes AI can be like overwhelming, and because it gives it such like so many possibilities, I feel overwhelmed of like, okay, like what do I make it do for me that can make my life easier? I think it's sometimes a little bit overwhelming. I think it would be really interesting how to use an everyday task besides, let's say, an email. And even with an email, like how can I even better my email so then I don't have to write an entire essay and I'm just asking it to be more professional. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would like or really enjoy a class where I can use AI on the most mundane, easy tasks and perfect that aspect before I even start getting more creative of how I want to use AI. Because as you've explained, it's just figuring out the little tasks and doing the little things, but even thinking about the little things, it's hard to even grasp or even know how to use these tools to its max, even for the tiniest things.
Yeah, that's a really good one, and it could be something more about developing systems, and we talked about this too. About 5 years ago or more, when anybody got any feedback on what they should be doing, hey, I'm going to college, what should I be studying? Everybody said programming. And the reason that most people always give that suggestion for people, even people today, they're still telling them, hey, go into programming, is because it's not about learning how to code. It's learning the systems that it takes for you to be able to program something to do a task, right? So when it comes to developing systems, programming helps you think that way. I'm not saying to go into programming, but go into systems. What is a system that I can develop? And besides AI, right? Without AI, what is a system that I can develop to fix that task or create a good workflow for that task? And then how I can add AI into it to make it better. So I would say first would be maybe learning a little bit of systems and frameworks of how to do certain things, right? How to accomplish things.
Maybe use AI so you can teach.
Right, and you can do that, right? You can
Podcast.
say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm trying to better my systems and understanding how to develop systems for my workflows.
Right.
Teach me how to do that, right? You can ask it to do that.
It's a great idea. But I do think I would enjoy a class.
Yeah, okay, beautiful.
Intro to AI, baby.
Right. Yeah. And then obviously I would love to have something where we sit down, we go through Midjourney, we set ourselves on fire and then see how to make that happen, right? Like, and then really hands-on on the tools. Just like how we created a GPT right now, will be awesome to be able to have something that is very hands-on.
I want to set myself on fire.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, Michelle?
I think an idea that would be maybe a good business is like when you take the class, we all have different companies and different
Yeah.
kinds of art. And so sometimes if you sit through a 2-hour class, maybe there's 10% of the information that's relevant to you. Then you go home, you open your email, life continues, and you don't really implement it into your business. But something that I would hire as a service would be a like full day or half day AI business consulting, where you offered a service where you could either meet me personally or meet the creator personally and go through their day and their workflow and say, this is where you could automate your system. This could give you back an hour a day, because my system is probably very different than your system and your system. So I think it would be a very good service to offer, like customizable AI teaching where you, I don't know the soft, like, I don't know, like you didn't even mention Perplexity, but for my writing, I would use Perplexity, but you never said that word. So they wouldn't maybe never know about that. So like have a service at HGAB Studios or somewhere where you can do a half-day package or a full-day package, go through my workflow, and then you could advise me on systems that I could use to.
Yeah, that's cool. Like a one-on-one.
That's an amazing idea, because we're all different. We all need it in a different way. We all use different tools. So that's an amazing idea. Thank you for your feedback.
So to piggyback off that, I would be interested in a hands-on workshop or coaching for specific outcomes. So for example, my background has been technology all my life, but I've been more on the functional side of things, QA, Scrum Master, Project Manager, that world.
Okay.
I understand technology. I sit with engineers and architects all day, every day, but I will never sit down and do code. I would just not.
Yep.
My brain cannot think about commas and semicolons. I'll just go crazy. But I understand the full technology. And a lot of the things that I do today at work is I understand a process that they have problems with, that they want to make efficient. I document it. I manually create the workflow for them. I manually suggest recommendations on how to improve those processes and those tasks that you can automate. But now I have all this knowledge, and I'm like, okay, now where do I start? So for me personally, would be coaching, workshop, hands-on, where I can come in and okay, if I want to create a template of I have the input, the process, and the output. Give me a workflow, and I can modify, augment my own skills to help folks like her.
And the beautiful thing about your industry, like industrial engineers, those people are the top at systems, right? So those people understand the systems. They just need to connect the dots now with artificial intelligence.
And that's where I would say my competitive advantage is being that liaison between the business world and the IT. So now that I have some AI knowledge, I can bridge that, but I'm stuck in the AI universe water fountain that's just coming at me.
I was telling them it's the water hose problem, right? You're trying to drink water and the water hose is turned on completely and you're just trying as much as possible to drink. Yes, that definitely is a feeling. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Anybody else? Any feedback? Anything that they would like to see?
Or any questions?
Or any questions, yeah.
That you might have depending on your industry and how you want to automate it or so on and so forth. I mean, right now we touched up on a couple of different things, but we can get very tailored depending on the question.
And I can talk about AI forever, so go ahead, my man.
Sal, can you give him the mic?
I mean, you've been talking a lot about AI, obviously, but I'd like you to touch into the difference between AI and automation, because I've been using a lot of N8N and Make and those type of tools. And I've realized that there's kind of like that difference between using AI to do things for you and kind of automate entire systems that plug in different things, your email, Midjourney, or whatever, to kind of automate entire processes. So
and maybe that's a distinction that we could have clarified a little bit more in here. There's a big distinction between AI and automations, right? People think that is the same thing. Automations don't need to have AI. Automations just are systems that you build that can automate a process, right? The amazing thing now is that we can add LLMs, intelligence into those automations, right? But first, it's it's understanding what the automation is, what can we use with it, and then later on add the AI aspect to it. But that's a really good point. Yes, automations and AI, two separate things, right? Now they're I think together because of all of the AI hype, I would say. But yeah, automations and AI, two separate things, but that's a really great point. I think automations is definitely something very useful for everyone.
Would that be considered an agent, right? If you have a task and you have automations already and you feed it information, it already does all those things?
Yeah, remember that when we spoke about an agent, we spoke about three things, right? An intelligence, so an LLM like ChatGPT, something that has the intelligence behind it. Tools, so it can call tools, it can say, and it can make that own decision. So you can say, hey, like, I want you to do this. You can say a prompt to it, and then it can make the decision on what tools to tap into. Hey, he asked me about this. Okay, I should be using search, or I should be going into the database and extracting information. But agency means that it's thinking of that on its own, right? And then the last piece of it is that it's gonna go and take an action for you. Inside of the automation, outside in another app, right? So you can say, well, when I prompt you this, you know, make a decision. So we'll go and make a search, or say, no, actually not a search. I'm gonna go look at that database. It's gonna extract that information, it's gonna bring back to the intelligence, and now it's gonna say, you know what? Add him to Stripe and charge him. Because that person, I just said, you know, he just became a member. Now do that full automation for me. I don't have to touch Stripe. I don't have to touch the database. I just have to say, hey, this person became a member today. And then it will do that that workflow for you.
Got it.
So, sorry about
What
that.
AI tool can I use for that? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like an AI CRM platform.
Yes, and a lot of CRMs have those capabilities inside of them. But if you don't have your CRM, the base of it, the systems of it, completely set up, the agent is not going to be able to do that because it's not going to have the correct data, the correct pathway to be able to take you fully to that final part of the automation, right? It needs to know every single touch point of that person. It needs to know all of how have you done that before in the past. So you need to have the base for it set up correctly for you to come and automate a very complicated workflow. But if it's a simple workflow, maybe it can be done, right? Maybe the CRMs can already do that. They already do that. Hey, this person hasn't emailed me in 3 weeks, send them an email. Right? Those CRM systems already do that. And that is not and that's not using artificial intelligence. That's just using an automation. Hey, if this person doesn't email me in 3 days, email them back. There's no AI in that part. That is just an automation.
Awesome. What he said. Anybody else have any questions before we wrap it up? No? Oh, God. Now I have to do this outro?
Yeah, let's do the outro.
Chris, thank you so much for taking the time and educating us a little bit on what AI is, how we can use it as creators, and what next steps we can be doing when we go home and try to create our own agent. We'll probably call you, or I'll probably call you. But if people want to find out more information or know a little bit more about you, where can they reach you?
Yes, definitely. Number one, follow HGAB Studios on Instagram. We have all of these amazing events that we're putting out here. We want to continue to do more events based on AI, have these conversations, probably those personalized coaching sessions. That would be amazing. But also on Instagram, you guys can follow me on chrisvivas.ai. That's Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Vivas, V-I-V-A-S.ai. All of my information is there. If you guys want to follow me on LinkedIn, I am also there. My name is Christian Vivas. I have all of my research and all of my papers that I've written there on LinkedIn. So you guys can also see that side of it if you guys like some of that nerd stuff as well.
And I want to say thank you to everybody that came out today and learned a little bit and asked questions. You guys are amazing for giving us your time, and I hope you did learn something today. If you guys liked today's topic or have any suggestions on future topics, I would definitely love to hear it. When this episode does come out on YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, we would love for you guys to share, comment, and like, of course. It's the only way to do it. But for now, thank you guys so much for joining us in today's Something Cool panel, and we hope to see you guys again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Woo! I am AI. So wait, in the Matrix,
In the Matrix, yep.
they used humans
Right.
for power.
Don't get me started on this one, dude. We need to get out of here. But they do. They use the humans to
Yeah.
power the AI.
1,000%.
That is true.